I don't think it's been as bad for Pepsi as the world would have it. I think a lot of the outcry has been justified, but I don't think it's as bad for Pepsi as the general chat would have it. I think they've actually boosted themselves in some ways, and I think some of the commentary has been coming from such obviously vested interests that it needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. Fundamentally, not everything about it was wrong, and that's what I'm finding uncomfortable in the kind of hysterical reaction of everybody saying everything about it was terrible. Was this the worst commercial ever? I don't think it was. I think in demonstrating that they are still an ambitious brand with lots of scale, that they're assertive, that they're present, that they're competitive, that they're well resourced, and that they're imaginative in a weird way. I think they've done themselves a good turn. I think it's the crudity with which they executed the commercial rather than its intention, which has been the problem. But the intention is also understood, and I think that's a positive thing. I think Pepsi's been a really interesting example of how the industry is changing. And I'll talk about the marketing industry in general, but particularly brand owners, the providers of advertising, and market researchers who help to evaluate and optimize those things. So we seem to be in the era of adolescent power brands who also don't always behave perfectly, like Uber, and Google has had its own difficulties. Every brand that we talk about will have had a difficult moment. With Pepsi, you can't say that it's an adolescent, it's more like an old brand. It's looking around and saying, actually, we have to stay relevant and contemporary here. And they've done a few things. They've moved their creative work in-house, and they have looked at things which are current and contemporary and said, how can we employ those in making ourselves relevant and appropriate to today's market? I think without the right checks and balances. You have to ensure that the same sources of wisdom, expertise, skepticism, cynicism, being too cool for school even, have to remain in place for somebody to say, you cannot be serious, you cannot do that. The way market research has historically been done is that it's relied upon our thoughts and the articulations of them, because that's what you do with questionnaires and with words. The truth is that consumer relationships are a mixture of feelings and thoughts, and it's time to access that properly. So at TX, that's what we've done. We developed a system which is a hybrid of understanding people's feelings, which need to be unveiled, and thoughts which need to be articulated. And we marry those two up to have a more circumspect analysis of what's going on. I think in that way, we could have much more sensitively guided Pepsi in the development of its commercial.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.